All right, we're back. Richard Lewis Brown, Local 1000 President. Today is November 12th, 2021. This is part 2 at a Worksite here in the state of California. Hopefully you had a great Veterans Day yesterday. Hopefully you took off today so you can have you a nice long weekend and get ready for Thanksgiving if you choose to celebrate Thanksgiving. Okay, so we're going to let state employees ask me questions live, unscripted, unedited, unrehearsed. I don't know what's coming. They may like me. They may hate me. They may hate the union. We don't know until we go live. Let's get it started. Okay, ma'am, go ahead.
Hello. I want to know what kind of updates you might have as far as that, trying to get that hazardous pay for us that are in our actual field office. Because I believe the feds gave money to the state.
All right. So, state employee asked about the hazardous pay money. She believes that the Fed gave the state of California essential worker premium pay money. All right, so the federal government has, I think it was $27 billion, given the state money up to the governor's discretion to how he wants to distribute that money. It's not really hazard money because the heroes pay was never passed years ago. So all these different terms, hero pay, COVID pay, hazard pay, they all mutated to call it basically essential worker money, extra money for going to work during this great pandemic. As you know, we have a essential worker premium pay petition that we are promoting, that we want everyone to sign. And listen to why I said this. It's a petition. It's clearly labeled because in this country, when you do petitions, you clearly label a petition. People sign their names. There's no confusion on what they're signing. On that petition, it tells you what we're doing and why we're doing it. More importantly, on that petition, it has your signature that you sign electronically that you can do in a minute or two on our website, SEIU1000.org. So we're trying to get you the money, but not through the federal government. On that petition, it says state budget, $76 billion, reported in January. State budget surplus, $76 billion, has nothing to do with the federal government. That money, ma'am, should have been dispersed. Not to just represent employees of Local 1000. That money should have been dispersed to all state employees of all the different public sector unions. It has not been done. And, people say, well, the governor's really busy. He's doing this, he's doing that. He's fighting the pandemic. All right. Then they said he had a recall that he shouldn't have to have gone through because the people voted in 2018 to put him in office, and that all this money that was spent for the recall was unneeded money, and so he was distracted. All right, so he successfully beat his recall, and some people said, why did Local 1000 give $1 million to SEIU State Council on June 2nd? Because they didn't, ask the membership about that money. I don't have the answer, but they just, gave SEIU State Council, and they used that $1 million to help this governor, Gavin Newsom, successfully fight his recall. So now, with that being said, he should have free time on his hands to ensure that state employees receive some sum of money for the great work they have done to ensure that even with telework, many people are teleworking, that the fourth largest economy on earth never lost a step. And when he said, the governor, Gavin Newsom, said that, we're all in this together, we're all in this together. Well, when it comes to the money, he has to still figure out if we're still all in this together. Now, we're working to get this money. Right now, we have a lot of petitions that's been turned in, ma'am, but not enough. We need to tell every state employee, go to SEIU1000.org for the record, click on the Essential Worker Premium Pay link, click on it again, fill it out real quick, hit submit. And then in December, we're going to take these petitions down to the governor's office. He should have time. The holidays are coming. He should have more free time. I don't know how bad the fires are right now up in Northern California. Maybe they've calmed down somewhat. So he should have free time on his hands. The money's there in the budget. So I started work on June 30th as the Local 1000 president. How you doing? And the money's been there since January. Now, the former president did say that, yes, we should have this essential worker premium pay. She said something that I agree with, that has caused a lot of consternation with people. Everyone represented by Local 1000 should be entitled to that money. So to those who continue to come to work for DMV state employees who work at the DMV driver's license bureaus, they don't have a choice. Some job classifications, for those who work in CDCR behind the prison walls, they don't have a choice. The custodians don't have a choice. But that doesn't mean that those who had a choice to either go to work or stay at home, that their service wasn't just as valuable as those who had to come to work. And we're not going to cause dissension within our union by saying, well, so-and-so is more important than someone else. We want to treat everyone in our union with equal respect and equal dignity. And that's what I ran on as part of my platform. And so I'm actually fulfilling what I said by treating people with equal respect and equal dignity. How fast can we get the money? Not fast enough. And before you can jump to the next question and say, that money we lost, that 2 days of pay for that whole fiscal year, why have we not been paid back that money?
Why?
That is the $1 billion or $2 billion question. We should have never gave up our money to begin with. We should have never, ever gave up our money to begin with. We should have enforced our contract. And so I apologize for that. And so some people would ask, before you get to the next question, well, how much money should we get? How much should each employee get? I guess we'll have to do a survey.
Okay.
Because everyone feels very, very emotional about this money because you were told something because it involved money, and now you're holding the governor responsible for what he said about, not necessarily about the essential worker premium pay, but about telework. But all this is tied in together. And the fact that people have worked from home successfully all this time period, and California never lost a step. And now for people to be told you got to come back to work, when they say we're still in the pandemic up to at least March, something is not adding up. And then you're being told that you got to come back to work, but yet the essential worker premium pay still has not been delivered to you. Something's not right. Something's not right. And so they say, well, this is why they would tell you, ma'am, this is why politics matters so much, Richard. We have to be involved in politics. Well, wait a minute. Before I arrived on the scene on June 30th, Local 1000 has been heavily involved in politics for all of these years. They were so heavily involved in politics that they gave up 2 days of your pay for a whole fiscal year, and they were scheduled for 2 years to give up your money. That was their political justice. Politics matters. I can't tell if all that social justice Local 1000 has been doing all these years, you lost 2 days of pay for a whole fiscal year, and you were scheduled to lose another 2 days of pay. I'm just saying. We can't get the money fast enough. It appears that trying to recover those 2 days of lost pay for the whole fiscal year, you would say, Richard, get us either the 2 days of lost pay. Wow. The answer just came to me. So you said, well, how much money should we get? Someone was asking on Facebook. Well, what about them 2 days of lost pay for that whole year? About giving that back to us. And then someone's going to come back and say, well, give us the 2 days of lost pay per month for 12 months, but give us some interest on it. Everyone is going to have a different opinion. But I don't want no one to think that every night I go to bed, that when I wake up at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, that money is not on my mind, because it is. And I know people are just going through hell trying to figure out, why are we going through this? Why is it that every day I go to work on time and I give it my very best, but my union, why is the union, my union that I belong to, why are they not giving me their very best? All that's going to end, because I'm going to give you my very best. Does that mean that I'm going to be successful in everything I try to do? No. I was supposed to reduce the dues on day one by 50%, and I couldn't do it. I was going to do it anyway, but I couldn't, because I didn't want us to be financially insolvent. I wanted to look at all the finances first, even though I already know in my heart how to do it. I already know how to do it. But, the things that Local 1000 has done successfully since I've started, the transparent website, giving you information. You call me, I call you back. You can call your Local 1000 president, he'll call you back. I can guarantee you this: no matter how long I last in this position, you'll never have a president of the largest public sector union call you back. If they try to remove me or do anything, this essential worker premium pay that I'm trying to fight for you to get, forget about it. It's over. The COVID, we fought on the COVID because they violated our contract. We enforced our contract. Now, if you don't work outside of CDCR, you don't have to get vaccinated. That was because we fought them on that. That was a huge success that I don't really talk much about, because in America, half the country says get vaccinated and the other half says don't get vaccinated. So I can't please neither one of them at the same time. But that was a huge success for us. We've even got a cease and desist on the N95 for the healthcare workers in CDCR. And PERB has agreed, Public Employment Relations Board has agreed to sit down with us and CalHR to figure that out. So we are enforcing our contract for the first time on major issues. But we have a long ways to go. But we are getting victories. And so I'm asking you to stick with us. Keep paying your dues. Tell your colleagues if they're not paying their dues. This is the perfect time to become a dues-paying member. You don't build your membership right before the contract expires on June 30th, 2023. You build it now and start creating that energy so that we are totally united by June 30th, 2023. So the state knows, hey, we're not at this level of membership, we're at this level. And now when we say, hey, we got to call for a strike after bargaining in good faith and reaching the legal impasse, and we call for a strike vote and it came back approved, now we go on strike. And now you'll see what a labor union does. And we'll set U.S. history. So I think the big question is, when people ask about the essential worker premium pay, is my question to everyone is, are you ready to create U.S. history in the labor movement? That's the question everybody should ask themselves. As long as you are willing to take the abuse, and I'm not going to say that every supervisor is abusive, because we don't want to stereotype, but as long as people are willing to take a level of abuse from some supervisors and a level of disrespect from the state of California, then, quote, you'll continue to be treated like this. And every time something bad happens financially or whatever in this state, they'll come to you and take your money from you because you didn't stand up and hold your dignity. You would rather bend over and let them walk over you. Remember, they did this to us in 2010. This is all ties into the essential worker premium pay that we're discussing. You were asking about that hazard pay. When you say hazard pay, you're basically telling me your life is in hazard when you come to work every day. It is. I know where you work. It is. When Jerry Brown asked us to give up 1 day's pay in 2010 for that contract from 2010 to 2013, we called it the 2010 POP. We gave that day up. That was the biggest mistake of Local 1000's life, other than not going on strike during the furlough fiasco with Schwarzenegger. Under that signed contract in 2010 and 2013, he came back in 2012 and asked us to give up another day, the 2012 POP. So he asked you, and you gave up that money in 2010, And then he came back in 2012 while under a signed contract and said it to you again. And we gave up the money again. You can't do that. You can't do that. And so when you ask about this hazard money now and why it hasn't been delivered, look back in your past. Look how the state of California has treated you in the past over your money. And then you can kind of get an idea now of how they will continue to treat you unless you have a leader. Unless you have someone that's outspoken, that's going to call the governor out. And I don't dislike the governor personally, but his decisions are whack. Think about this. The pandemic, things get tough, and then he comes and tells you to give up your money. 2 days to pay for a whole fiscal year. Did them state legislators give up their money? No, they did not.
I thought it was straight across the board.
No. So a couple of the state legislators gave up their money, like I think 3 or 4, maybe 5 at the most. That's nothing. All the public sector unions gave up their money, but them state legislators did not give up their money. But yet they told you that we're all in this together. That was a lie. And then they tell you, politics matters. Politics matters when you're the one winning. So from our past history, we see how the state has, quote, worked with us, quote, in good faith. I don't see it. I don't see it at all. But I'm asking you and I'm asking all your colleagues to not lose hope, to continue to hold your ground. We're going to get through this together. And I know and I respect the job that you do. And some people think the toughest job is behind the prison walls. Some people think the toughest, well, I guess I'm biased. I think them custodians go through hell. That's just me though. And some people tell me that those who work in DMV, it ain't a pretty sight. It's kind of ugly. It is. It's very ugly. And some people say, well, Richard, why don't you go to those DMV work sites? They got a great point. I need to get to those DMV work sites. If you're a DMV work site up and down the state of California, holla at me. 408-207-2339. I'm going to start going to those DMV work sites. Oh, yes, I am. Oh, yes, I am. Call my bluff. Challenge me. I'm going to try to fit you in the schedule. Call my bluff. Now, the prisons, they've already called me and called my bluff. Richard, get your ass out here. Fair enough. And so I go where I'm welcome. Sometimes I have to go where I'm not welcome. But I respect the job that you do. And people who do your job, you should tell them. Tell them here in the worksite. You hear about all these crazy things about me and how I don't care and how I'm doing all this foolishness. Those things you're hearing about are absolute lies. See, there's a reason why they're trying to remove me out of this union and strip me of all my powers. Because they know the longer I go, the more I keep talking, the truth will come out. You should go to our website and take a look, SEIU1000.org, and see all that information. Because a lot of that information you've never seen before. Because they've always kept it secret. They've kept it hid. I'm letting it all out. That's why they got to run me out of here. And then because I'm addressing the fact that the leader of the #1 state in the nation, California, he has not given you the respect that you deserve. He hasn't. He has not respected you. And you don't see people calling him out for what he's done. The people who call him out, they're from the other party. So you say, well, we expect the other party to call him out. Well, let me tell you this. I belong to the Democratic Party. You can't call yourself a labor-friendly, labor-supportive governor and you took money from the people. And then you say, well, what if he said, well, hey, Richard, I made a mistake. Hey, sounds good. How fast can you pay him back? Let's make a deal. How fast can you pay them their money back and get an essential worker premium pay and make sure that the state agencies have guaranteed telework and don't leave that power up to the management? How about that? You want to get to the White House, Governor Gavin Newsom, I can guarantee you this. You do things like that, I'll be your puppet. You just bought me. If I can make sure the Local 1000 gets a 20% pay increase in the next contract and they get the essential worker premium pay and have permanent telework, boy, look here. I'll be his biggest advocate. That's live.
20% sounds good to me.
Yeah, 21% pay increase across the board.
Doing the math.
Yeah. And so people say, well, Richard, there's no way that we can get a 21% pay increase across the board for everyone represented by Local 1000 in the next contract. They say there's no way. Well, wait a minute. Hold on a second. That's what they told the European settlers when they came to America. There's no way you can go to that strange land with people already living there, indigenous people, Native Americans, I love you, I see you, with them already living there, and that you could be successful. There's no way you can go to Africa, grab slaves, bring them over, and successfully make that money. There's no way. Well, here we are. There's no way you can go to the Southwest and beat Mexico for California and Texas. Well, here we are. They said, there's no way, Richard, you'll ever beat the incumbent. Took me in my third shot. Fair enough. Here we are. Don't accept defeat. We can overcome this. Yes, we can. It's no different when they told rappers back in the 80s, you'll never make it. Selling those cassettes out the back of a Cadillac. You'll never make it. Well, Jay-Z made it. Maybe they all didn't make it, but he kept pushing. Tupac made it. Biggie made it. They said, no way rap music will ever be successful. Well, these rappers are out of control. These cats ain't going anywhere. They kind of remind me of somebody I know dear to my heart. They just won't quit. It's that type of mindset here in Local 1000 we must adopt. We cannot quit. You say, well, if I tell my friends in the other unions or in other agencies, does it really matter, Richard? You betcha it does. It matters. Your voice matters. Your vote matters in this great country. Don't ever give up your voice. Don't ever give up your vote. Don't ever give up on this great country. I don't care, I should have gave that speech yesterday on Veterans Day. You don't ever give up on this great country. Do we have some character flaws? You got that right. Does Local 1000 have character flaws? Yes. Am I perfect? No. Nobody is. Okay? We can win this. But you cannot win by giving up. I'm so sorry. Am I talking too loud?
No,
Okay.
Can I speak with you just a moment?
Sure. Okay, so we're going to stop the video. It's November the 12th, 2021. I'm Richard Lewis Brown, your Local 1000 president. I'm all fired up today. This is part 2. Okay, love you. Bye-bye.